The Guild is one of the most underrated games of all time, incredibly unique and immersive. You play as a young man or woman looking to find success and establish yourself in the late Middle Ages through hard work, perseverance, and whatever else it may take, including many dark and sinister acts. It's a ton of fun trying to make it big and succeed in seeing you rise to the top. While the sequel didn't live up to expectations due to bugs and glitches, it still was very enjoyable. So now we have arrived to the Guild 3, an early access title that has gone through a tumultuous development cycle. Originally part of another development team, this new team inherited a very difficult task to fix and correct the many missteps and issues. I originally was going to write this game off as another early access failure, but with many recent updates being made and development kicked into high gear, is it finally worth playing? So when you start up, I recommend you to pick any city. Specifically, I'd recommend London, and there's various game modes to choose from and various goals to meet. I recommend that you choose free game so you can kind of do whatever you want and you can do it with no pressure. It's my personal way how I enjoyed the Guild. So you can create your character on how they look and their profession. It's very basic, it's just a handful of attires and palette swaps, pre-made faces, basic attires. Now, the Guild has always been graphically behind, unfortunately, so this is nothing new. So you can pick two starts. You can either pick the poor man start or you can pick career mode. If you pick the poor man start, you'll have a house and some money to your name, as well as one business available for you to build based on your starting profession, and that ranges from food, handicrafts, herbalism, or rogue. In this case, I choose Rogue because that's always been my favorite from previous titles. I mean, I love just robbing from the people and eventually just running the whole town. It's a lot of fun. So the first thing you need to do right off the gate is you need to build a business so you can make some money. The location is very important. Once you build a place, you hire employees to carry out the desired tasks. So you assign the tasks such as creating an item, or if you're a rogue of some sort, you can have them rob or steal people. Depending on the profession, there's different tasks you can assign. The next thing you'll need to do is start a romance with an individual as quickly as possible. So as a man, you're gonna struggle a lot. So be prepared for rejection, which is pretty much similar to real life for a lot of us guys. So it's very accurate. Unless you're incredibly charismatic, you will be rejected multiple times. And you really need this because you need an heir to continue the game when your character passes. So completing tasks will gain you experience and level you up. Unfortunately, it's very stripped down from the second game as you can only level up one attribute at a time. And I also missed the perk system from the second game. It made it a lot of fun and felt like a really true RPG. Not sure if that's planned to happen anytime soon, but I wish they bring it back. So with the money you gain, you can use them to buy higher titles with their own benefits. So these titles, when you achieve them, they can unlock new abilities and actions. It's very similar to the Guild 1 and 2 in the way it works. The difference is you have to also buy skills to unlock certain buildings. So this makes the game feel much more of a grind, and it's one major issue that I have with this game. You know, it's also recommended to be mindful of other dynasties because they may ruin your day. Even if they're not part of a rogue profession, they can still find a way to ruin you. They may start feuds with you, but you do have diplomatic options with them to have alliances and trade a few things. But unfortunately, it's hard to tell if they'll accept or not, and most of the time you propose it, they will decline you. So this was just a snippet on all the things you can do. So as expected, the game has a pretty steep learning curve, even for a veteran like myself. And the tutorial, it walks through how to begin the game, like, you know, constructing a business, making money, marriage, etc. But the tutorial is very lackluster. It's just not a proper tutorial. It just says, here are things to do, read about it, and that's it. A video and the voice can go a long way in making this a really full-fledged tutorial. And even though this new team has taken over, bugs are still present, and that's to be expected for early access titles. The Guild games in general have always been glitchy, especially the second one. That was at one point just unplayable. There's frame rate drops, numerous graphical glitches, gameplay glitches. Honestly, just too many freaking glitches. Like, it really ruins the experience. So unfortunately, playing a rogue honestly became really boring really quickly. I can only build one kind of business to start, and money just took way too long to trickle in. And as a commoner, the title that you start with, there's not a lot to do, and it costs money to level up your titles more than how it has been in the past. The big thing going for that campaign was I kept running into freaking trials, and they're so bare bones. You can't do anything to influence your sentence. You just have to wait to see what the judge and what they're going to pick for you, what your punishment's going to be. It's really boring, and I enjoyed them in the first game and especially the second game, but this one is just, it's just a huge step backwards. So the combat itself is fairly basic. There was a lot of combat in this, so I experienced a lot of it. All that really happens is two people or people attack each other, and that's really it. If you have good armor and weapons, that's a must. That'll give you a huge advantage to your opponent. But you don't really have much control over the action, so not much of an improvement to the guild too, which is a missed opportunity. Hopefully the developers can improve it, but if it stays like this, that's fine. I still enjoyed the guild 2 anyways, and the guild 1's combat was not that great either. So I decided to start as career mode instead of poor man to give myself a bit of a head start. So I was able to start off with a mercenary camp, and there was a point where I wanted to upgrade it into a barracks, but unfortunately I ran into a really crappy restriction. Apparently I couldn't upgrade it because it was outside of the city, and honestly there was no way I could have figured this out. Like, I don't know if it was in the instruction manuals or whatever, which again, or in the tutorial thing, because if it is, that's a bad place to say it. There should be some warning or something. It really infuriated me. And I can't sell the freaking building, so I have no idea what to do with it. It's not like I can just take that money, the value of the building, and just build it, you know, in a new place. So I was stuck. The deeper I got into the game, the more I just preferred the older guild games. The systems that are present here were just done better in the other games. Currently, I just recommend you go either to 1 or 2 over this one. Those are way more complete and way more enjoyable. Honestly, I couldn't really name one thing that had a clear advantage over the older ones. I mean, I guess the AI is a little bit smarter, but dynasties are still as stupid. There just wasn't really anything here to hook me in the long run, which is really disappointing for a guild title. And I know there's a political system. If you get to a certain rank, you can start applying to offices. But I gotta be honest with you, I couldn't devote myself more to get into the political system. I wish I had more to say, but I just lost interest. I apologize. Overall, I'm just very disappointed with this product, highly disappointed. But I do commend the development team for their recent work. I mean, I do commend them, and I don't envy their situation, because it's a hard situation to take something that was a pure mess and a broken mess at that and try to make it into something, you know, functional and good. But there's just so many, it just feels far from a complete product, and there's just so many bad design decisions made. It just feels so much more restricted than the first two. Overall, like I said, not recommended. It won't hold your interest. If you want to get into any of the guild games, play 1 or 2 instead. But for most fans, as much as I would love to say, yeah, fans, you should support this game, don't. Hold off until later on. Maybe it'll get better. It's still in early access, so who knows. But at this moment, I just can't recommend it at its current state. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching as always. And this is Powerhouse, signing off.